Hello, welcome to your standing balance practice. You will probably benefit from having a couple yoga blocks or something similarly shaped, perhaps for some support, and then also a ball, a tennis ball or a self-myofascial release ball. I love to always start my standing balance practice with some foot rolling just to be really intentional about waking up the sensory receptors on our feet to ensure that everything is just kind of engaged and online for the balance work that we're going to be doing. That being said, I'm not going to spend a ton of time with it. Feel free to pause this video and spend a little bit more time rolling out your feet, and then you can play and come on back. The sort of central tenets to our foot rolling work is that a little goes a long way. So we're not trying to like mash the tissues. Instead, we're just kind of trying to, again, wake up the sensory receptors on our feet. So knowing that, spend some time just working your way across that kind of meaty section of your foot for sure, the inner arches, the outer edges, from the big toe ball mounds all the way down toward the heel. And then once you have spent at least a minute or so on each foot, perhaps 2 minutes, you can set your ball off to the side. We're not going to be using it again inside of this practice today. And then come down onto hands and knees. If you'd like to have blocks underneath your hands straight away, a lot of folks really love that, myself included. Then tuck both of your sets of toes under. So all 10 toes tucked beneath you. Then press through your hands, lift the back of your heart up between your shoulder blades a little ways, and then reach out through the crown of your head so that you're creating some length in the back of your neck. Keep your left toes tucked under. Send your right leg straight back behind you. Keep your frontal hip points pointing down toward the ground, and then just a little bit of navel in towards spine so that you feel some connection between front body and back body. Take just a few breaths. And then we're going to take a quick little tap of your right toes off to the right, and then you'll come back to your right leg hovering behind you for a moment. And then again, tap. Bring it back. And just one more time like that. Get that tap off to the side wherever it lands. Then stretch your leg back behind you. Return your knee and your foot to the ground. And we'll try the second side. And so start by sending your left leg back behind you. And then look toward those details of frontal hip points still pointing down. A little bit of navel towards spine. Reach out through your left foot, your left heel. Keep your breath moving. And try that little tap on over toward the left. Keep your leg up in the air, swing it back behind you. Try that 2 more times. So we're just starting to welcome in a little bit of balance from hands and knees before we get to standing pretty quickly here. Now, as you bring your left leg back behind you, return your knee and your foot to the ground. Then we're going to move into a downward facing dog shape. Again, you can keep your hands on blocks if you wish. Otherwise, you can send your hands to the earth. Take your hips up and back. Take a moment, just breathe, move around if you'd like to move around. Let your heels sink toward the earth, press through your hands. Then we're going to walk back to our feet. So you can start to inch your hands all the way back to your toes in a forward fold. Feet hip distance or so is going to be good for a nice wide balanced foundation. Let's take a spinal roll up to stand. Slowly, with your upper body heavy, roll up to stand and pause. A little bit of a bend in your knees, a little shift from foot to foot so that you can feel your body weight settle more so toward one foot and more so toward the other foot. Okay, that's great. Come back towards center and let's take a spinal roll reversing back down. Chin to chest to roll all the way back down. Again, a little bend into your knees. And then once you're folding, you can start to walk your hands back out to your dog shape. Then as you land there, take your right leg high behind you. Take a big long stretch through your right leg, similar to what we were doing just on hands and knees a few moments ago. But then step your right foot in between your hands. Again, depending upon your anatomy, this can be an area where it's nice to use blocks to decongest and give yourself a little bit more space as you essentially lengthen your arms out more. Bend into your front knee quite a bit. Take your chest forward. Then start to straighten your front knee a ways. You don't have to worry about locking out your knee, but let your left heel bone sink toward the earth behind you, and then let your spine round. Try that again. Rebend into your front knee, get low into your hips, lengthen through the front of your left hip as you take your gaze out, and then start to straighten things out. Take your hips up and round. One more time like that. Bend into your front knee as you look out. Take your chest forward. And then as you round, you'll simply step back to your dog pose. Take a moment to reestablish and regroup there. And we'll do the same thing on the second side. You can begin just by stretching your left leg up behind you and then pull it through. It might take you a few steps to get your foot up in between your hands. That is just fine. Bend into your front knee a lot. Take your chest out. Then pull your hips back, round and fold. A couple more times just like that. Very, very simple. Rebend and straighten. One more time, bend into your front knee. Then straighten it out, step directly back. And then we're going to march back to downward facing dog, or your forward fold rather. So from your dog pose, march your hands back to your toes, fold down toward your feet. Take your spinal roll up to stand. And then find again that weight shifting from foot to foot. Now this time we will execute a full weight transfer. So as you feel your weight settling onto the sole of your left foot, just a quick lift of your right. Then return your right foot. Slowly transfer all the weight onto your right foot, then pick up your left. Lower your left foot, pick up your right. Lower your right foot, pick up your left. Lower your left foot, spinal roll down. Walk your hands out. Press the ground away from you again. A little bend in your knees. Take your hips really, really high. And then lift your right leg up behind you like we did before. And again, you'll step your foot in between your hands. A little different this time. Place your back knee onto the ground. Hook your thumbs together, so sort of like a butterfly grip. Take your arms up overhead, widen across your chest, and then interlock your fingers and place them right on top of your right thigh bone. Press your hands down firmly into your thigh. Tuck your back left toes if they're not there already. Pick up your back knee. And then we are going to launch. So you'll keep your hands planted on your right thigh. Then take your heart forward, keep your chest lifted, then start to inch your left foot forward, forward, forward. Feel more weight settling onto the sole of your right foot. And then take your left leg up to any extent. You can always tap your left toes back down. You can keep a bit of a bend into your right knee, but press your hands into your thigh so you can take your chest forward and take a few breaths. You will very likely feel your right foot and your right ankle doing work, rolling toward the inner edge and the outer edge of your foot. That's great. And then a big bend into your front right knee to tap your left toes down. Return your hand to the ground. Step back to your dog pose. Second side, bring your left leg up. Step your foot through, take all the time you need to get it there. And then drop your knee down. Hook your thumbs, lift your arms. Circle widely across your chest, through your shoulders, then interlock your fingers. Place them on your left thigh. Firm your hands down into your thigh. Tuck your right toes. Pick up your back knee. So settle in here before you even think about moving. And then with as many steps as you would like with your back right toes, you can step your foot up. Take your chest forward so it's a bit of a hip hinge in your upper body, and then perhaps lifting your right toes off of the ground. Again, tap down as many times as you would like. And keep breathing. And then a big bend into your front left knee to tap your right foot to the earth. Lower your hands. Step back dog. Take a few breaths. And walk your hands back to your toes one more time. Take your slow spinal roll up to stand. Take your weight shifting from foot to foot. Transfer all of your weight into your left foot. Pick up your right leg and pause. Take your hands to your hips. And then as smoothly as you can, I'd love for you to just kick your right foot behind you as you hip hinge here. So similar to those postures we were just in at the front. Kick your leg back to any extent. Let your left foot work. Okay? And come back out the same way you went in. Good. Lower your foot. Try the second side. Balance onto the sole of your right foot. Pick up your left. And then hip hinge with your heart forward to kick your leg back. And return. Lower your foot. Relax your arms. Chin to chest. Bend your knees a little ways and roll on down. Walk your hands out. Drop down to hands and knees. Really nice work. So this practice is a very, very nice way to just kind of warm up your standing balance. If you know that you're going to be engaging in standing balance in a pretty dynamic environment throughout the day, or if you just want to work on your balance in general. See you next time.